Okay.
Okay. Вот сейчас нормально.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Well, welcome everybody, and delighted to have you here for today's webinar session, which is looking at fintech and its role in powering digital transformation and financial inclusion, with a specific focus on developing Europe and Central Asian region. We're thrilled to have with us a very esteemed group of representatives from the fintech landscape across Central Asia. And this session today is hosted in partnership with AIFC, and we're going to hear from the Deputy Chairman of the AIFC Authority in a few seconds, who's going to welcome everybody here. We do have a fourth speaker who's due to join us, but I suspect technology may have got the better of him, so hopefully we'll be able to include him during the course of the session today. Really looking forward to our conversation with the panelists, and as participants in the session, please send us your comments and your thoughts. We try and bring in commentary from attendees throughout these sessions. So whether you have a remark to make or a specific question for one of the speakers, please don't be shy and please do send them through to us. But first of all, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Kaliev, who's the Deputy Chairman of the AIFC Authority in Kazakhstan. Mr. Kaliev, tell us a little bit about AIFC, some of the successes you've had. We've heard a little bit about the emerging fintech ecosystem of Kazakhstan, and it would be good to hear about how you're going to build on those first successes for the future. Welcome, and delighted to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Simon. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone here, all participants and speakers. First of all, I want to thank Findexable team. First of all, for supporting us and raising awareness about fintech in Kazakhstan and in the region. And also, of course, for hosting this event, this webinar, which is very useful for all participants to discuss these interesting topics. So about our ecosystem, Kazakhstan's and regional. So I think that we have to tell about. First of all, as I'm presenting AIFC, so we launched in 2018, launched a financial center based on English common law. It's a jurisdiction, separate jurisdiction in Kazakhstan, with separate judgment system and the regulator. We created a special fintech hub supporting fintech startups and making connection, making the bridge between startups and financial institutions. Also, we established a sandbox in our regulator, where we have about 30 startups testing their business models and regulation, which is very it was one of the biggest problems for startups, and so we copied the model of Singapore and London, and created a very flexible sandbox. We have also probably you have known about last year startup, last year IPO, sorry, of Kaspi KZ, and Kaspi KZ, which was very interesting because it was biggest outgoing IPO from Kazakhstan, and it was biggest in London Stock Exchange last year. And the interesting moment was that it was a regular bank specialized in consumer loans, but then they, during several years, transformed into digital bank, fintech with marketplace, and last year when they went IPO, its valuation was about 6.5 billion, and then rise to 12 billion US dollars. And I think it was very good sign for all fintechs. First of all, for current banks, old school banks, and the second one is very promising for startups, startups in Kazakhstan and startups coming from abroad to our market, because usually startups are not very some of them not very interested in developing markets, but I think that our region is quite ready for fintech, because, for example, Kazakhstan, it's ninth largest by territory country and with lowest population density, but internet coverage and level of digital literacy are very high. It's about 85 or 90%, and I think that the Kaspi case proved that idea that our market quite ready for fintech development and for big fintech stories. So I wish you a very good discussion, Simon. Thank you.
Webinars, and I'm still leaving myself on mute. Thank you very much, Karat, for that. Will you be staying to join the conversation, or I hope we can include you in the conversation during this morning as well?
Yeah, so I will be here, but so mostly for listening. But if something you want to know, I'm ready to
Fantastic, good. And as attendees, please do send any questions you may have on the AIFC Centre and the FinTech Hub activity. Let's turn, thank you for that, Karat. Let's now turn to our speakers and our panelists today. As I say, we've got a very interesting mix of regional fintech firms and some large players in the likes of AIFC in terms of the government, but also Visa. Yevgen, I'll come to you first. Tell us a little bit about Visa's activities in the region and how you see Visa playing an enabling role for fintech. And within that, does financial inclusion play a key part of some of the activity that Visa's undertaking in the region?
Yeah. Hi, everybody, and very pleased to be here today. Welcome all participants as well as attendees. So from Visa side, actually, I believe that we need to be short. Yes, I have not more than 5 minutes, and I will try to do so. And actually, I have to speak about. I can speak about this more than hours because of activities, to say frankly. But the first, what I would like to mention, and to split it on 3 main pillars, to say frankly, what we are doing with Visa. The first pillar is actually some kind of APIs platform. So Visa is the first fintech, I believe so, that appeared more than 60 years ago. And from the very beginning, we have started development of our ecosystem to enable the most easy way to connect to Visa. Yes, we always pay attention to our security. We always pay attention to actually compliance, anti-money laundering, so on so far. And it is our one of the most activities. But from other hand, we are trying to be open to ecosystem players, providing access to VisaNet via our preset APIs, what we have on our Visa developer platform and portal. The second, so the first way is a very wide set of APIs that enables fintechs, including, to build using Visa's facilities. The second topic, what we are working on, is direct cooperation with fintech players. We have our specific and tailored program for fintech. It's called Visa FinTech Fast Track, that allows us to onboard promising fintechs, building partnership, help them to build product, invest in some funds, so on and so forth. So this is a tailored program that is exactly was created to establish cooperation and partnerships with the promising fintechs. The second, but these fintechs should be more or less matured. Yes, so we are not talking about startups here. We are talking about matured fintechs. I will tell about startups a bit later. The second, within this frame, FinTech Fast Track, we have expansion of this program that is targeted exactly to create ecosystem, not only to build these FinTech products, but also to help them to access technology companies, let's so-called TechFin. And Visa is open, has opened Visa FinTech Fast Track, Visa FinTech. Is a program for fintechers, and
your connection is stalling a little bit. You may need to switch off the video, I think, for perhaps to save some other connection.
Sorry, I will. Yeah. So from other hand, we have, as I said, the Visa FinTech program for fintech enablers. This is ecosystem, actually, program that is built exactly to create this ecosystem around Visa and to be able to provide access to promising fintechs to those companies who is technically ready with Visa stamp, quality stamp, to provide products to these companies. So we create this ecosystem. And the third pillar, what I would like to mention here is how we interact with the banks and startups from other hand. So with the players who are presented on the market. The first is we have now launched recently program for banks that called Visa Ready BIN sponsors for fintechs. So where we are certify and interacting with the banks in order to make them able to work with these newcomers on the market to build mutual products. And from other hand, we have scouting program, Visa Everywhere initiative, to actually work with, to identify and grow the most promising startups. We had this program 2 years ago. We performed it in Central Asia, actually. And among winners, couple of participants, today participants they had. So this is Slava Artumonov, this his Landing Star project. This is Nadir from Uzbekistan with his Tap to Phone project, so Marta. So actually, we are really happy to have these partners, but we have transformed this program this year to make it global. And winners from CISSE and fully online. Winners from CISSE, one or two, we will decide, will attend global final of Visa Everywhere initiative, and will have chance to get global exposure from the very beginning, you know, of their business way. And we believe that it's really, really valuable for startups, as well as not only exposure, yes, but also we are going to help them on building their customer value proposition, on perhaps in some investing, so winners will have cash prize too. So it's how we act, so ecosystem approach. So and 360 degrees, you know, in order to have all these players interacted between each other, and Visa took part, like, you know, orchestrator of this process. So this is our mission, to grow win-win, and I don't know, not only 2 win, but 3, 4 win-win-win-win projects, because a lot of parties here, and we are doing our best to make each and every participant of this ecosystem benefit from this interaction. So this is how we do.
Thank you very much.
I'm passing over to you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that introduction and the activities that you're undertaking in the region. Slava, let's turn to you now. Lending Star sounds like it's scaling rapidly. You've obviously had a strong link already with Visa. I believe you're entering new, other markets outside Central Asia. Tell us a little bit about Lending Star and what some of the opportunities that you're seeing and how you're kind of addressing some of the problems that there are with regard to serving customers in Central Asia.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Okay, so hello everyone. It's a real pleasure to take part in this event. So the Lending Star is primarily the financial platform who is helping small and medium enterprise to exchange their commercial receivables for cash. So in a few words, we're helping small and medium enterprise to get the easy, cheap, and very fast working capital, short-term for working capital, avoiding general lending approach from the bank or other financial institutions. Actually, we try to help them to convert their receivables from the balance sheet, from the receivable spot into the cash with some small discounts. So we actually started doing in the like a pilot project in Malaysia, and currently expanding inside of this Southeast Asia, different markets. In Central Asia, we started from IFC. Particularly, we chose after the kind of evaluation of different jurisdictions and the programs, and we found that IFC is the most attractive and most kind of friendly program and jurisdiction around the different kind of neighboring countries like Russia, Ukraine, or Uzbekistan, or other kind of Central Asia or CIS or Eastern Europe countries. So we found the company there and get the sort of sandbox license that allowed us to operate the private platform, particularly doing the kind of the task that trading the receivables on behalf of our small and medium customers and sell it to the financial institution or other financial participants on the platform. Today, last year we have started already exploring the other markets. It's Middle East, and we participated in acceleration program in Dubai. And this year, so we applied for license in DIFC. It's like a brother of IFC, but in Middle East. And hope that we going to launch the platform in Dubai next year with a license that also has almost the same kind of approach and permission list as we have in IFC. So we think that the platform emerged and helped to express a lot of interest from the small medium companies who is actually took this part of the fintech evolution or fintech revolution around the world and participating in our platform. The small business can be more close and more kind of streamline their financial kind of evolution process inside of their company. Despite or beyond the general products and services like payments, deposits, or generic lending products that the small business actually primarily operate or manage from the banks or other institutions.
Thank you very much, Slava. Thank you for that. Let's turn to Nurken, back over in Kazakhstan. Nurken, tell us a little bit about Rahmet app and some of the really exciting things that you're exploring with the app. And it sounds like really trying to build the super app equivalent for the region. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Let me introduce myself and our company, tell a little bit about who we are. So we've been building internet startup since 2011. Started with the daily deal service, and the last projects we launched were like dark stores in 2020, and lending service for our users and for our merchants, which we plan to launch in 2021 in like late spring, maybe end of May, I hope. So who we are right now? We are #1 in daily deal service. We have #1 online travel agency, food delivery service, online e-shop of online sales of contact lenses, service which helps to find doctors nearby. We have dark store called Rядом, and some other projects. How we contact, how we are connected with fintech projects and everything concerning fintech happening in Kazakhstan. As Kairat Khalif mentioned like 10 minutes ago, one of the huge successes and like biggest successes in Kazakhstan is Kaspi. We are very happy for Kaspi, and what they're doing is like very good for the market, but they are also our main competitors in Kazakhstan. And for us, building an ecosystem, building our own super app in Kazakhstan actually is a matter of survival, because we have around 10 companies. Each of them has separate apps, separate website. We are not connected, and we have different technological infrastructure underneath. And the product Rahmet, our fintech app, like mainly cashback service for our merchants and for our users, is generally meant to be like the front of our ecosystem, main entrance, because it's the most frequent app in our ecosystem. And like basically what fintech services we're planning to launch and what Rahmet is right now. Rahmet is basically a cashback service, and we're planning to connect all of our lifestyle services in one app. Rahmet will be like the payment method underneath. Also, Rahmet will become how to say it, like we will build a loyalty program of connecting all our products, all our services. Because we're quite big right now, we have all these projects, all these services, and about like almost 1.5 million active user base, which makes at least one purchase per year. We are also launching. We like already successfully launched it. We launched our own internet acquiring service, because all our payments go via internet acquiring services, mostly like banking acquiring services. And this year we're planning to launch credit like loan limits for our user base and for our merchant base. But basically, like we are not doing it ourselves. We are not planning to become a bank. We are mostly partnering with banks. Like we're using them like on back end. Front end is our apps, our services. We are making alliances with banks. Like right now, we've already agreed with 3 banks already. We're planning to make like 5 and start our loans project for our user base and for our merchant base. Basically, what Vyacheslav is doing already, but for our own merchants and for our own users. For merchants, it will be basically similar to PayPal working capital, like our model. So this is basically what we're doing, and building an ecosystem, building a super app is also like a defensive move for us, because we won't survive in the future if we will not go there. We will have to become part of any other ecosystem if we don't build our own. So to be short, yeah.
Thank you, Nurken. And our final speaker today, Mr. Badrudinov, Nodir at Microsoft. Welcome from Uzbekistan. Tell us a little bit about the ecosystem there and what it's like launching a fintech in an emerging region.
So thank you, Simon. Hello, everybody. First of all, I'm happy to have a chance to talk with you regarding the place of fintech solution in our markets and their share in the financial industry of our region. But before, let me tell you about what we are doing and what pushed us up to do this. I'd like to say we grew up on the streets where providing goods and service for tourists is the main source of income for some families, for most of families, and where this segment has always been ignored by traditional banks. And in my humble opinion, more or less, we are very similar with our neighborhood, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and maybe the south of Kazakhstan. So the numbers of bazaars or street vendors and small shops mostly are not involved to cashless infrastructure. Nominally, POS machines are provided to them by bank, but usually they ask only cash from their customers. The reason is simple. On the one side, merchants are trying to avoid unnecessary hassles with bank. On the other side, bank assumes the costs of purchasing terminals, but doesn't cover their cost as soon as planned, and lose the interest to serve them because client keeps cash with him and does not bring his money to bank. For now, card payments are not spread as wide as they could be in our country due to weak internet connectivity in rural places and from time to time in cities. Moreover, people prefer cash payments due to minimizing the expenses and avoiding a hassle with banks. We know the needs of these people, and based on this knowledge, we created the Marta Soft Post solution. And few time ago, we decided to do the thing which can afford to both parties. Our product Marta is a software as a service and mobile application for Android platform, which allows merchants to accept card payments without need for the internet. Instead, we use a unique way to instantly and securely authorize card transaction with the with the bank using USSD, the same protocol which we use regularly to send the SMS. The main advantage of this product is hassle-free implementation and ability to function in a no-internet areas. That means you can use commercial off-the-shelf Android device for these purposes. With our product Marta, merchant can use their existing phone, meaning there is no need for additional expensive technology, which costs 150 US dollars or above. Therefore, merchants who use Marta will no longer have to turn away non-cash customers because nobody spends money for hardware and no problem with accepting payments. What about now? Now we live in Uzbekistan and making attempts to launch our solution to other countries, which have the same circumstances. And Marta already have a partnership with all mainstream schemes such as Visa, MasterCard, China UnionPay, American Express. Our company Mayasoft was incorporated 3 years ago, and we are specialized on card present solutions. Thanks to the Visa Everywhere initiative, where we were awarded, and especially to my friends, Evgeny Lisnyak from Visa, Taras Volobuyev from AFC, Chingiz Mamadov from MasterCard. We got an access to communicate with the team of Visa and MasterCard, which helps us to make Marta compliant to requirements of schemes and to promote our unique feature to make card transactions. Our product was awarded on Unbound FinTech Festival in Abu Dhabi in 2019 as a best fintech for emerging markets, which also allowed us to find an investor in Middle East and to understand the perspective of our solution in Middle East and Africa countries. Now we have the support from Visa in Africa region, and hope we will expand our solution in that region also. I believe that easy to use and cost-free solutions based on the commercial off-the-shelf handsets will increase cashless penetration to unbanked segments globally, including our region also, Central Asia. And we are already watching great results of aggregation of fintechs with international and domestic schemes, which demonstrate us the growth of coverage of unbanked people here in Central Asia. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Nadir, for that. Very good. We've had a question which is really more a comment on a question with regard to the theme of today. Are we going to be discussing fintech in terms of solutions to problems, particularly regarding social outcomes? Well, absolutely. That is the intention of this session. In terms from the perspective of the fintechs of those among you, Slava, Nurken, Nordir, the whole inclusion angle is clearly important. There's an opportunity. There's a social good which can come of it. But I wonder, as entrepreneurs, as fintech founders, how do you think about inclusion? Do you think really first about the opportunity and how to connect with customers, or is the economic benefit, the bonus, the sort of social benefit that can come from financial inclusion top of mind when you set about designing and building your products at the beginning? Perhaps we could start with you, Slava, on that.
Thank you, Simon, and thank you for the question. So actually, we absolutely, was and have been embraced by the idea of to promote the fintech and the most innovative way of managing finance for small business. So of course, we are not spend a lot of time on on consumer space, where, for example, my colleagues from Marta and the Choco family guys are doing primarily. But we primarily work with the small business and on a business-to-business space. But we saw that there are huge gap of using the most interesting and most effective financial instruments that has been kind of missed by the small business and has not been available for them. Like, this working capital finance through the receivables or short-term factoring deals, or letter of credit type of products or escrow product that have not been available for the small business deals. And that's the first one. The second part of this kind of equation is that as soon as we are serving small business who has primarily doing business with a big corporation, so it's always the unbalanced situation where for example, the big buyers are dictating the rules on all supply chain kind of engagements or assignments with their small business the suppliers, especially the local ones. Whereas if we are talking like international buyers, like companies of level of Shell or Unilever or Procter & Gamble or anyone, anything kind of. So we saw that the local suppliers, they primarily have to accept the rules that has been dictated by those big buyers. Like, for example, if you looked at the payment terms that has been already increased dramatically, for example, in Southeast Asia, it's more than 100 days. In Central Asia, it's more than 60 days. And in general, in worldwide, it's about 57 days of payments delay. It brings a lot of pains for the small business suppliers who never has a lot of and had a lot of source of additional financing. The small business company, they always scarce of financial resources. So they cannot afford like a public IPO, they cannot afford bonds lending or other type of big lending possibilities or opportunities from the markets. And we saw that actually giving them this small opportunity to take short-term financing for their working operations or kind of short-term operating expenses would create a lot of kind of opportunity for them to at least stabilize their financial position in a short-term perspective, and then think about something kind of new and the opportunity for their growth, because everyone has to understand that the business is for profit and for growing, not just to survive. This is kind of the main idea was behind this inclusion points in Lending Start.
Thank you very much, Slava. Nurken and Nordir, from a consumer point of view, how does inclusion or the kind of the economic social benefits that your products offer feature in the design and thinking and the planning of your businesses? Nurken, perhaps we start with you and then come to you, Nordir.
Yeah, no problem. So we have a large customer base in Kazakhstan, like around 1.5 million users.
Mm.
So basically, uh, main products we are doing right now is like uh, QR payments in restaurants, like giving cashbacks to users. Mm, we are planning our loans project, and all these mostly like necessity to do that project. As I told before, we are forced to launch these projects because we like the main idea of Choco Family right now, like top of mind of what we're doing is building alternative ecosystem in Kazakhstan. Um, like connecting all of our projects, and if our rivals, if our competitors giving users among them also like our user base, like loans, giving them QR payments, giving them cashbacks. We have to answer that, and we have to do it also. And like, what can I tell? Consumer base, they love cashbacks. It all like I think helps people to helps people to create new habits, like paying online, using different online services, taking loans online, etc., etc., etc. We are like making our input in that dynamics. Um, um, basically, basically, that's the main idea of what we're doing right now. And like the main problem of all our products, of all our services, is frequency also. Because, for example, our travel service is used like twice a year, 2 purchases per year. For example, according to latest report of Kaspi Q1 report, uh, um, in average, user makes 32 or 34 purchases per month. Per month. Kaspi right now is even popular than WhatsApp in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And in order to compete with them, we have to build our like fintech services to make them strong and make them like underneath infrastructure for all our other lifestyle services.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nurkan. Nadir, in terms of your
Yes,
sort of your
yes.
focus on enabling cashless, what how important is financial inclusion to you? And I suppose if it is important, are you able to measure the impact that what you're doing makes? Are you able to see that, and how are you doing that if you are able to?
Yes, I'm partially agree with Slava and Nurken, and I ensure that uh, the services, financial services, should has the killer feature because I told about it a couple minutes ago about the place where I grow. Here we can spectate more people, unbanked people, the people who never use bank services or for other financial services because it seems very complicated for them. That people now active, and they mostly they are small vendors, street vendors, bazaar traders, etc. And I think the tools which we will provide to our customers, for example, our product Marta, we try to do this tool maximum simple and easy to use, because however here is more as Evgeny, my friend, told above about the security, about the other features, about the consistency of whole this security ecosystem. But nevertheless, we're trying to do the solution as much simple and as much affordable for ordinary people, for the people from the street, from the bazaar, for example. That's why we are trying to we are making to accent for the people who cares about their family by doing the day by day, by doing her job, for example, artisans or I don't know, vendors. But anyway, that people should have the tools which will be at maximum easy and comfortable and convenient for use. And this is one of the main aspects. The another one aspect, I think, this is the difficult onboarding processes of this contingent, of this part of population. I mean the procedures of the banking or other financial institutions, which are based on the more traditional rules, maybe, and these rules, I think, should be modified based on the and should going in parallel with the development of IT, or I don't know, fintech infrastructure at home. That's why the second point, my point regarding the what can increase the inclusion of the population into the fintech and of course developing the fintech ecosystem in our region. It's a simplifying of the procedures of financial institutions at home.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Yevgeny, as Visa, obviously, you look at things in a much different way, being a much larger business. You talked in your remarks at the beginning. You talked a lot about enabling the ecosystem and your kind of pivotal role in that. And clearly, we can hear that, the connections that you have with some of the panelists here today. When it comes to the role of payments in enabling access to financial markets, bringing more and newer customers into the market, how do you look at fintech and fintech firms when it comes to their potential or their remit, their mission to draw in customers, to enable financial inclusion? Is it something that you prioritize when you see companies that are focusing specifically at drawing customers in, or how do you view it as part of your enabling role?
I will try to speak with video, so Simon, if
yes,
again this problem will appear, yeah, please give me a sign. Yeah. First of all, why fintech is important? Because actually this is dedicated teams who is trying to find solution for some specific problem. And these companies regionally, inherently from the beginning, from the actually establishing and founding, are targeting to find solution for some pain point. And this is very important because banks very often, traditional players, they very often do not have such focus on problems, and they lose it for their customers. That's why fintech is exactly that is necessary to develop matured ecosystem, matured financial systems. When we are talking about some developed markets like European Union or like Tajikistan and the Ukrainian markets, it's pretty hard to amuse people with one new bank or whatever. It's necessary to exactly bring features, bring relief, of some problems. And this is one approach. Yes, we are looking for targeted, oriented on some problems, fintechs, and trying to build their partnership with the traditional banks. When we are talking about Uzbekistan, for instance, where financial services are not so well developed and a lot of population are out of banking, excluded from this financial system, we are actually betting and make the key point on fintechs in order to develop this market. And thanks to such companies like Marta, thanks to such companies like we have in Uzbekistan, Humans Mobile, or Beeline, Uzbekistan, one of the biggest mobile number operators, PayMe, Click. So a lot of fintech players in Uzbekistan, if they focus on there, they are actually helping us to develop and to bring this habit even to use financial services to population, because banks now are pretty, they're from one hand, they're very traditional one. We do love banks, it's our key partners. But in order to have this boost of engagement of population, sometimes it's easier to work with the fintechs, and fintechs are acting actually as a front, because banks originally, organically, they became in Uzbekistan, for instance, like enablers, providing their services to these fintechs. It's impossible to launch fintech without bank participation. And this is also a pretty good example where partnerships between banks and fintechs are helping us to actually develop the market and include population into financial services. So also very important to what necessary to have, this is state support. Yes, and in Kazakhstan, I believe one of the best environments for fintech development, for appearing new technologies, because you have in Kazakhstan, you have orchestrator in face of AFC. We partner with AFC several times, and we have now a couple ongoing projects with AFC, and it's our luck to have such partner there, and it's important to have it. We expect that in other markets, at least national banks, regulators will take this part and play this role for fintechs too. And we see this for Ukraine, for instance, where regulators started to launch it, some fintech program cooperation, so on and so forth. So it's important to have such a devoted regulator authority in the market. So this is how we work, and I believe that fintechs, it's exactly, I told, key phrase for me, fintechs, it's exactly specific, companies and like doctors who can treat exact pain of the patient. First of all, they're able to identify it, and after devotedly, persistently look for the best solution for it. And having as much fintechs who is professionally treat this, for instance, traditional bank has, as more, I believe, sophisticated and actually satisfied customer, sophisticated product and satisfied customers they will have. So it's our position.
Thank you very much, Evgeny. I appreciate the background there. You very generously touched on our sort of next point, really, which is this talk was to talk about government or ecosystem involvement, if we can call it that more broadly. As some of you will know, we have something called the Global FinTech Index, which ranks fintech ecosystems and fintech firms globally. Our 2021 rankings will be out in June. We launched in June. And in front of you on the screen is the list of emerging Europe and Central Asia hubs that we're currently tracking. Some of them are new to the rankings this year. And I do want to touch on, with the panelists here today, the role of the ecosystem in enabling success, but also enabling companies to scale. Again, Slava, let's start with you, because you've started in one market and you're looking at others. What role, how important and what role does the ecosystem play in enabling you to succeed? And what have you learned from the different markets that you've been looking at or considering? And what are perhaps some of the similarities between them? Or what could be done better that's going to make it that little bit easier for a company either to start up or to go from startup to scale up?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so actually we have a few practical examples of how the ecosystem actually boosts the the emerging startups and developing startups from small to kind of more extended business. So if we kind of, we had started in Malaysia, and we saw that the Southeast Asia market has a quite nice kind of an expanded and very wide ecosystem, including the regular financial institution as well. But of course, so we found that the market primarily targeting the activities inside of the region, and even those, so primarily the country-specific events or objectives. Comparing with this approach, so we found that in Nur Sultan, for example, in Kazakhstan, we kind of had quite much bigger view on the market and much bigger partnership opportunity comparing with the, for example, the other market that we operate. And thanks, for example, thanks to the IFC, we came to the Dubai market, so Middle East market. So it was absolutely kind of thanks to the IFC initiatives and their partnership with some internationally recognized financial hubs like Startup Bootcamp or Seed Stars, for example. So in our case, so we partnered through IFC with the Startup Bootcamp and enrolled into their acceleration program in Dubai last year, and it helped us has a lot of kind of much bigger kind of opportunity to start business there, to figure out all potential and existing issues or challenges with regulations, and the third one to achieve kind of the access to the whole region, to the whole market. So we have negotiations, and we have a potential partnership with many potential partners and companies around the whole Africa region, whole Middle East, like Egypt. We have very nice connection with Egypt, with the Saudi Arabia, with the middle countries in the middle of the Africa, with the South African countries. So I think that this is a very nice example of the open partnership or open kind of communication and collaboration from everywhere. I mean, for each of the markets, potential markets that, for example, IFC promoted and is promoting currently among the kind of the fintech. So we all understand that the Kazakhstan markets, it's at their early stage at a fintech hub or startup hub for the small companies, but at least the country is trying to engage as many parties from developed country as possible, so that to help us as the residents of the IFC to get this opportunity to expand. And I think that this is a very nice example. Like same approach has a DIFC, for example, for fintech hub and fintech free zone in Dubai, which is also quite open, and we have a lot of different connections and collaboration with different markets. For example, Europe, because for us, UK and EU, European Union, is the next frontier. And we had already established quite very strong and very valuable connections with those potential partners in UK and in European Union countries like Switzerland or Germany or France. So this is...
Thank you, Slava.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nurkan, from what you're saying, you talked quite a lot about frequency of transactions and the different types of services that you offer, and how you're trying to kind of, sounding like you're trying to kind of converge that into the app, and that's where the fintech element comes in. It sounds to me, therefore, your focus was a little less on what the ecosystem could do for you than it was perhaps about the market opportunity, and also, of course, the digital literacy, the digital familiarity of the local customer, and of course, the access to to digital services. Is that a fair fair assumption? You know, more focused on the customer and the opportunity perhaps than specifically you know, whether there was an enabling ecosystem.
Actually, like if you talk about financial ecosystem in Kazakhstan, I mean, Almaty, Astana, it's a great cities to start a fintech company because market is developed quite well. Card payments, card payments right now is like more than 90%, for example, in restaurants in Kazakhstan. So like the market situation, how market is developed is right now much better, for example, than in Uzbekistan or Tajikistan. So it's a great opportunity. Such institutions like AIFC, like Astana Hub, and other institutions are very helpful because they have some they have sandbox, they have some they make some regulation much simpler, or they can these organizations enable you to launch your project like much easier. If you talk about us, I mean, as I told before, like we are focused on building an ecosystem, and fintech services are like heart and the center of all that things, because like mainly why do we need super app? Why do we need fintech services inside that app to become the heart of our ecosystem? Because basically we have to concentrate all of our users, all of our user traffic in one app. Example of Kaspi showed that you can educate people, giving them simple services, for example, like peer-to-peer payments, making bill payments much easier via one app, giving them QR payments. If you have a critical mass of users, I mean, it could launch and grow super fast. It's like what Kaspi's example had shown to the whole market and to all market players. And we are inspired by what they are doing, and we are also focusing on building our own fintech services, because frequency of purchases is just one side. When you have one app, transaction cost for user is much lower. You don't have to switch to any other apps. What also is happening, like in Kazakhstan, like how competition is heating up with the help of fintech services and with the help of lifestyle services, because they're all interesting things emerge between on the edges of fintech services and lifestyle services. For example, like Kaspi is mainly a fintech super app in Kazakhstan. 4 months ago, they launched online travel agency. We launched online travel agency 10 years ago. We've been leaders of the market, and we're still leaders of the market, like with the almost 35% of market share, according to numbers of December 2020. And it took us 10 years to reach that numbers. Kaspi, with the fintech services in their heart, in their center, it took them like 4 months to get 20% of online travel market share. Only 4 months, because they have critical user base. They're deeply in transactions. Users use the app like very frequently, and because they generate and have all that data of the users, they can personalize their offerings, their marketing. For example, they know that they know 80% of our users, because 80% of payments on our platforms made via Kaspi. They know everyone, and it's much easier for them to launch any other lifestyle service. So like the basic idea of what we're doing right now and how we are like developing fintech services in Kazakhstan and financial inclusion in Kazakhstan, it's like Kaspi is a bank which moving towards lifestyle services, adding lifestyle services like marketplace, like online travel, and expanding the ecosystem. And for us, is like we've always been lifestyle services, and now we have to offer, we don't have any other option, financial services also, because if we won't have them, we will lose our ecosystem war in the long run. So that's what we're doing. And actually, because we have a large user base, because we have a lot of like successful projects like in each niche, like food delivery, online travel, doesn't matter. We are contributing a lot in financial inclusion in Kazakhstan also, because via our apps, I think in 2 or 3 months, users will be able to, for example, to get loans very easily from our partner banks, for example. Users will be able to pay, get cashbacks, to exchange money, etc., 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 to make bill payments. And I think we are contributing in financial inclusion a lot in Kazakhstan, like educating people to do all that via our services.
Thank you very much, Nurkan. Nadir, let's just turn to you quickly. We are actually out of time, but I did want to come to you just for a final word on Uzbekistan. Trying to do something very new in a market where you're trying to get new customers, perhaps the regulation hasn't been settled yet in terms of the stuff that you're trying to launch. How supportive was the ecosystem for you, and what kind of role did it play in enabling you to succeed?
Thank you, Simon. Regarding the ecosystem in Uzbekistan and our neighborhood, I will tell you the following. The interesting thing, last year's the infrastructure of the supporting institution of the fintech startups or any other interesting ideas was developed, but maybe 10, maybe 15 years, maybe far, not far, maybe 5 years ago, we don't have these opportunities to start our projects, to start to promote our ideas, our good ideas. Thanks to appearing of AIFC or DIFC, where we are members also in DIFC and the AIFC with my brother Slava. I would like to point that a few years ago we don't have this opportunity, and now the appearing of this ecosystem is making the push for the other followers who wants to do something interesting. And what about us? I just thought about the tool, about the I just want to back to the tool which can makes life easier, makes someone life is easier. And I just want to bring an example with the Africa. Now I told you in our previous discussion that we start negotiation with a couple of the African country, and we saw that people there not using the cash and mostly using the USSD features for paying for example, for taxi services or for other services. And that is interesting. They are doing this via ordinary phone, not smartphone, ordinary phone. And the main interesting idea is they just made something which affords to both parties, to the buyers and to the sellers, and this is the interesting part. And the ecosystem, for example, in African country, I know the government in that country supports this USSD feature and push the mobile carriers to help for developing of these services. Regarding our region, I just want to tell about the supporting of the government. For example, in Uzbekistan or in Kazakhstan, we are completely free from the taxes for until the 2028. Until 2028, for 10 years, we are completely free from any kind of taxes. And this is support of our government to the fintechs. And on the other side, we have the how would say permanent contact with our colleagues from the AIFC, and we are always informed about the situation, what happened in our ecosystem. And this is mostly thanks to the institutions like AIFC and in the Astana and the IT park in Tashkent. We also has the same institution as the AIFC, and I think the uh, the situation which was 5 years ago not the same like today like today in our region, especially in Uzbekistan, because today we see the real interest of the parts of the investors of the internal domestic and international investors to the guys from our country, from Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, and which can makes how would say something like a push out of this product to the next step, to the next stage.
Thank you, Nadir. Probably we must leave it there. We're out of time, but I did want to come back to each of you in turn just for a final word. We'll start with you, Yevgen. If you could wish for one thing over the next year that would drive that, kind of enable that boost to the ecosystem that you were talking about, or drive financial inclusion, what would that look like?
I believe that it's hard to say in one sentence what I would like to wish. I wish fertile cooperation between all participants in order to bring new products, identify new pain points, and have common ideation on looking how to actually find solution for this.
Very good. I like that. Yeah, standardization of approach and collaboration. Slava, what would be your wish for the year ahead?
I think so. It's I think the wish is just not try to be more broad on vision and on execution. And I think that the fintech has no borders, and we have billions of people who is looking for something absolutely innovative in this space. So just don't stay inside of your country or region. Just try to be more kind of broad on development.
Very nice. Thank you for that, Slava. Nurken? Come back to you in a year. Where will you be? What advances will you have made, or how will the ecosystem have helped you expand or scale? I think we may have lost Nurken. Nadir, I'll pass that question to you in that case.
So thank you to all participants, and I wish to all of you. Be. I fully agree with Slava. Have the opportunity to see one step after the current situation, one step to have a I would say perspective behind you, in front of you. Sorry. This
very good. Thank you, Nadir. Thank you for all of us here at
Simon, yeah, Simon, can I add, please, concerning an ecosystem that so I see an interesting trends here. So if you look at post-Soviet countries, so we usually are a sell side, right? So we are before and still, unfortunately, mostly we see a migration of so brain drain as a migration of people to developed countries and trying to find themselves in the fields like software development, fintech, and other techs, it's kind of negative. So there are positive sides, but mostly negative, I think, for country. And what our countries are doing now. So we are trying to develop an ecosystem to keep these people, to let them do their projects, do their startups, and build companies here in our countries. And we are building a friendly ecosystem for them. first of all, and then we, as AFC, as our partners and speakers mentioned, so AFC assist to promote startups which have been like started here to sell them abroad, and I think this is a very good trend. It's first, and second one, so we are at the same time trying to develop a buy side. We invite foreign fintechs, and the Kaspi case shows that we have a market here because we have already built an infrastructure which is necessary for startups and companies like I don't know, any international fintech, so can work here. And from another side, we are developing a VC, venture capital hub here in AFC, leveraging English common law. We are offering a structuring investment, venture investment in local startups. We invite international VCs, which have mandate for developing countries and early stages. So we are assisting them to find a pipeline and structure in AIFC, in English common law, utilizing convertible notes and other tools to protect their interests. So we are trying to build here a buy side too, to make this ecosystem like kind of all in. So to let startups just come here and find the support, find the international network, find the international investments, and even like develop here in local market and then go abroad. That's what we are doing.
A fully functioning marketplace. Fantastic. Well, we wish you well on that journey and the success that's been achieved so far. Thank you to all our panelists today, and to those of you that have been watching, whether directly with us or on our YouTube channel. Nurken, Nadia, Slava, and Yevgen, thank you very much for joining us. And Kara, thank you for joining us as the co-host here today. And we look forward to a future conversation with you, and lots of luck. And we'll be following your success and your progress. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you all. Yeah,
Thank you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Kairat, thank you again for invitation.